projection. There are errors in it. If you go to NDHS 2018, you see some errors. No, even though they are minor, or few rather, but it also cumulates to make our predictions to be faulty at the long run.
All right, thank you very much. But again, as you have mentioned that we're not accounting for those not reported, it's an issue. But in order to cater for those not reported, they always make what is called assumptions. But assumptions are sometimes not accurate because you assume. And for example, what is total fertility rate? Yeah, it's a synthetic measure that tries to say and establish that the number of children that a woman will have at the end of her reproductive year, and that's the assumption, if the current fertility rate prevails. And most likely the current fertility rate will not prevail. A child that is 15 years old now, by the time she's 49, we are saying that this is the number of child she will have, or number of children she will have, if the current fertility rate should prevail or persist. But it's not going to be in the next 30, 35 years. And so because of the assumptions that are not necessarily realistic, you have projections that are. So in demography, we teach estimate, projection, and forecast. Forecast are those that have very realistic assumptions. So you are like a prophet. You're going to have 30 million, and you have around 30, 31 million. That's a forecast. The way you have predicted, it looks like that. Because the assumptions have become very realistic. But if the assumptions are not realistic, then you have estimates that you just think, considering these assumptions, which are not likely to be realistic. For example, you make assumptions on mortality. Now, COVID-19 destroyed many of our assumptions because the world did not see COVID-19 coming. Can you ever imagine that in 20th century or 21st century that millions of people will die? With our technology, with our sophistications, with our development, that even America will lose about 1 million people within a few months, not just over time. It shows you clearly that human beings were still limited. Have you ever imagined that a particular disease will come and will ground the whole of aviation sector globally, and for months people could not fly, and the airport became ghost areas, completely deserted? So that tells you that we can make assumptions, but man proposes the assumption sometimes. And it's not just that the assumption of mortality will affect mortality rate. Those assumptions also affected fertility rate. Because during the time there were lockdowns, and which led to unintended consequences. People were not on the move. So there was baby boom, because people started to mate, copulate, leading to unwanted pregnancy. We did a study around that time. And I was in Kaduna, and we were telling us that the amount of delivery they have received this month when we were there, it was skyrocketed. Because people are coming out of lockdown with big belly. And by the way, how did you people escape it? God help you. Eh? You are right. You are right. True. True. Because we did a research and a conference on the impact of COVID-19 on SRH services, sexual and reproductive health services, because those places were locked. So if your own service is 3 months and you need to renew, and there was no place to, and the man at home will not want to get no for an answer, So it leads to unwanted pregnancy. And truly, as you have mentioned, family planning is not an acceptable concept in the North. The advocates use child spacing because they are selling the idea that child spacing will lead to the health of the mother, health of the child. You dare not mention family plan. So it's a serious issue over there. So Bureau of Statistics, National Population Commission, Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Women Affairs, they were all part of the stakeholders engagement that we've had. And then non-state actors. Academy for Health Development is based in Ile-Ife. Society for Adolescent and Young People's Health in Nigeria. This is the conference that fellows from last year attended, where it said more than 500 participants attended, and one of the fellows became a runner-up. So this was the conference. And hopefully maybe you also present here. And it was fully sponsored by this project. Hopefully you can also part of the one coming next year. Then the Youth Council. And of course the International Development Organization. Ford Foundation is the funder, giving the dollar to implement this project. And United Nations Thematic Group on Youth. And of course academic institution. We have UNIMED, which is the host here. Baccalaureate University is actively involved. And Federal University of Ekiti is actively involved. And that is the end of this presentation. Any other question or comment? Any? Please help us coordinate.
So thank you very much for the presentation. So like how many virtual sessions are we going to have in the course of the fellowship, and what's the duration? Like how often?
I would like to inquire, earlier on you talked about a conference coming in US that you want to share the link with the previous fellow. I want to ask if we also be beneficiary of that information so that we can try as well.
So Mr. Frank stepped out.
Knowledge of the answer. Issues related to youth development. Issues related to youth development, research conceptualization, and the essentials of concept notes for research, particularly for the Sparkle Fellowship, because we are going to be submitting concept notes as part of this fellowship, and then also introducing it to the available secondary data set and statistics, as well as different issues relating to analysis, the software. I learned that you ask about the software. So Mr. Sam will come around and possibly, I think he will share the crack version with you, crack version of Stata. And by crack, I mean, I don't know, is he stolen that? Because the Stata is about 1,000 USD or more, the original one. So if you want to buy, it's about 1,000. So no, don't call African bad name. You know, you are not being fair to us by saying it's African fashion. The concept of black is often used as something very bad. So when they want to describe Satan, they say Satan is a black man and very ugly. But they said it's not really true. So after that, they were going to have series of. Okay, welcome. So maybe Mr. Solanke can provide more information, because as you have mentioned, as you see, hello, you have, the essence of the lectures and the different sessions. The essence is to achieve different learning outcomes. So there will be those that center on developing manuscript, writing. So something relating to writing will come later. Something about analysis will be happening here. Conceiving your idea, you can see. So that by the time you are out of here, you're already having a research idea. Please, Mr. Solake, don't go. You're already having your research idea. And thereafter, writing will come up. And thereafter, issues relating to dissemination will come up. You can see it is very sequential, targeting different outcomes. So you're possibly going to have different, maybe up to 2 or 3 virtual sessions, but he will provide more. Mr. Solanke. Well, you say you are not going.
It just means I'll be there. Okay.
And you have gone already.
I want to do it, sir. So I want to be able to give detailed answer.
Okay.
Yeah. From the letter of engagement that will be given, you are going to be given a letter of engagement as fellows. And part of the content is that you'll be provided with mentorship guidance and advised by an assigned mentor. And you are expected to have regular contact with your mentor and provide progress of your research work to the office until the scientific publication of your work. Then, okay, my boss will tell you this. Don't let me say it yet.
You need more glasses.
No, I can see. There will be an online session where you present the progress of your research work and your experience. So there are still some other content which you'll get to know that later. So, but you'll be expected to have regular contact with your mentors.
They asked about how many virtual sessions.
It's supposed to be once a month, but sometimes situation might not really permit that. I'm talking from the experience we had with the last fellows, but you are expected to have regular contact with them. The moment you are assigned to a mentor, it now depends on your relationship with your mentors. So, but we will expect you to have regular contact. So we'll not be able to answer it precisely that this is the number.
The question is, we had group virtual sessions, apart from the one-on-one with mentor.
Okay.
There were also group whereby we were presenting lectures online. That's the question.
Okay. Regarding that, we'll determine that from the office here, because we also monitor the progress of your research work. So we now determine a time that we'll call everyone together to meet.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
I actually didn't get the spelling. I don't know. Is it CART? The fellowship you mentioned. And how can we also benefit?
Why is that microphone so nasty?
PhD students as well. So you talked about sponsorship and all that. So I didn't really get, is it CARTR at the Qatar fellowship?
So Qatar is Consortium for Advanced Research Training in Africa. CARTA. Advanced for Research Training. Advanced for Research Training in Africa. Qatar. Headquartered in Nairobi, Kenya. And with partners across Africa and non-African partners. Northern partners in Sweden, UK, and other countries. So how do you benefit? For you to benefit, you must be a lecturer or researcher in one of the partner institutions. You must be a lecturer or researcher in one of the partner institutions. And what are the partner institutions? In Nigeria, there are only two. University of Ibadan and Obafemi Awolowo University. So how did I benefit? I was a lecturer at the Obafemi Awolowo University. And you must also be willing to do your study research in one of the partner universities. So very restricted. And I had my admission to University of Witwatersrand, Johannesburg, South Africa, before the fellowship came on board. So I was privileged to be a lecturer at NIFE and also willing to study at VIT. So that was how I benefited. Yeah. So, but there are several other fellowships that can support you that does not restrict. I think Codestria maybe is still running. Codestria, Council for Development of, as CODERSRIA. Also Codestria. Then you also have, I don't know if ADDRF is still running. ADDRF is the African Doctoral Dissertation Fellowship, which gives you money only to write your dissertation, and also maybe to conduct, to also cover your feed expenses also, I think. So there are many of those. But truly speaking, you should not do your PhD without funding. You should not. You should not go and borrow loan to do your PhD. There are more than enough money and resources out there. You can always get funding for your research. So please don't take loan. The salary is not enough to cover the loan. Well, I don't know how much you are being paid in your place. Don't let me assume.
Thank you. Okay. My name is Ogungbeson Joshua Olufemi. Okay. I'm Ogungbeson Joshua Olufemi. Okay. I have it too close to my mouth. Okay. I'm Ogungbeson Joshua Olufemi. I come from Ilishan Remo. I'm lecturing at Babcock University, Ilishan Remo. I'm also a PhD student at Babcock University, and I just finished my MPhil last year from Babcock University. I had my MPH at University of Ibadan, while my first degree from Babcock University too. I'm married. I'm with kid. Thank you, sir. Oh. Okay. I lecture at nursing department at Babcock University. Okay, so I have a question, sir, regarding some of the things I met the house deliberating on. Is about Qatar, one. Then two, you are talking about other forms of link where one could be supported or get grant for his PhD program. For the Qatar, I don't know they per se, because I've seen them, because at the time I once worked with Ogun State. Qatar, I once worked in Ogun State, School of Nursing, both Ijebu and Abeokuta, and they are having one project done through, I don't know, maybe I should call it like a system or a mini body like that. They are having one or two projects doing for Ogun State. So at the time, they normally even have a session already on HIV and AIDS, whereby we teach students on that. But later, they also graduated to teaching them around something on virtual, like being virtual compliance, and also they try to get them some building project and other things just to facilitate this virtual program they were having with them then. So I don't know, maybe they also have something doing too with other states, because we made mention of two universities whereby they were really supported or partner with. So I don't know. Maybe there are more.
Well, maybe what's the Qatar you are talking about seems to be different from what I'm talking about. No, Qatar is basically, as the name, is not Qatar. This one is Qatar. Consortium for Advanced Research Training in Africa. Doing research in Ogun. No. No. Maybe one of the students got a project. I'm telling you what I know. Maybe one of the, because the Qatar program is so elaborate that I don't know, it's about the most elaborate doctoral fund that I am aware of. And I'm sure what he's talking about, that project, is the project of one of their students. It's not Qatar. Qatar does not implement projects, but rather Qatar build capacity, give fund to build capacity. So once you become a fellow of Qatar for your PhD, I was in the first cohort, and I'm still with Qatar, and I finished my PhD 10 years ago. So you can imagine, after your PhD, you should know that for you, because the fellowship was for 4 years, but I'm still with Qatar. So you can know. So once you get in, you finish your PhD, the scholarship, I think the scholarship is, if there's no change, for 100,000 USD. And then you will do your PhD for 4 years, and they will sponsor you around the world for 4 different seminars. One, we used to have one in Ibadan. We still had it in May this year. They call it JAS 3, Joint Advanced Seminar 3, which is to build capacity on data analysis and research presentation. So they walk you through the doctoral journey. JAS 1 is to build your capacity on critical thinking and conceiving your research idea, because that's the start of the PhD. Conceptualizing your idea, developing your proposal, submitting your protocol, getting approval for ethics and others. JAS 2, that's one. That one takes place in Nairobi, Kenya. Second one takes place in South Africa to build capacity on data analysis. The JAS 3 takes place in Ibadan. After you have gone to the field, collect your data, you are using secondary data, come to Ibadan in 3rd year for your writing. They will invite all experts from around the world to support you. And the 4, that takes place in Uganda. And then that's where they teach you dissemination, policy engagement. After that, when you finish, you compete for postdoc with them, strictly for with them, strictly for Qatar graduates. So they can give you postdoc of 1 year, it's $3,000 per month, and you do the postdoc anywhere in the world. Even during your PhD, also, if you lack a particular capacity, people have been supported to go to US, to go to Sweden, to go and learn. For example, if it is semantic review you want to learn, can support you. So they give funding for that. And if you are a woman, you have babies. If you are going for those workshops, they will buy tickets for you, buy tickets for your babysitter, whoever is helping you to carry your baby, and will give hotel to that person so that you are allowed and able to concentrate. And they also give the age limit for man, for male is higher than for female, because they believe women need more time. So for male is 40 years, for female 45 years. So and so on and so forth. So after your postdoc, they allow you to apply for 50,000 USD to start your own research. That should be. Qatar doesn't implement projects. And just yesterday, one of them came to me, one of the Qatar graduates. She wants to apply for her own research, and they need to have mentors. So she's approaching me that I want you to be my mentor to support me. So you can have mentor across the world. You can just select anybody, they will support that person to come to you. So if they are implementing projects in school, it's one of the it should be one of the Qatar graduates implementing that. But of course, if you have seen their name, if you have seen the name, his name is probably, because they will always carry, just like you see Sparkle, we are implementing, but so just to acknowledge. So that I can tell you for free. It's not the Qatar implementing project. All right. So if you are in usage, then you will see them a lot now. Yeah. That's why we do just 3. Yeah. Yeah. Lecturers and researchers who are staff, yeah, of a part 2 in those institutions. Yeah. That's why it's called consortium. What? They said that they want to secure the future of their graduates, not just training them or abandon them. They want to secure. That's the word. Yeah. The conference I went for last week was Qatar conference. We were, I can't count our number, and they invited other people. And I finished 10 years ago, and we see the people that were in my cohort were even taking pictures. People were sharing their testimony of how they've made progress with their career. So it's a very elaborate fellowship. And the director came there and said, because he came from US, he said, wow, when he saw the hall, he said, wow, dreams do come true. He said, when we dreamt about this in 2008, we never knew it's going to be as big as this. And the funders were just throwing money at them because they were able to achieve their milestones. Wellcome Trust, Gate Foundation, CEDA, they were just throwing money at them. So now they can calculate that we need to close the account for the year. Can you quickly develop something so that we send this money to you? They kept on receiving money. So before we leave, I can share some of, because you can also benefit, because all our teaching materials are now online. You can even use the teaching materials for your own personal teaching. The curriculum was launched last week in Johannesburg. There are videos because we use innovative teaching approach. Not just to come to lecture. You can see the way I presented. Not just to, because the traditional teaching is that you test them what they must know. No, they don't have idea. They are useless. They cannot think. That's the traditional approach. But Qatar broke down the hierarchy that you can learn from students. Students can learn from lecturers. So it's bi-directional, both ways. So that's the approach. And you can see I can share some of those. There are links with you so that, because they can also use those videos and software and and curriculum for your personal teaching. All right.
That you should try to share other is a link or that could support PhD graduates in their research work. You made mention of Codestra and the likes funding. Yes, you said that you should not go and borrow. You should not go and that.
I'm not saying I'm the one that has the money. Oh. Please, don't misquote me. Oh. This man that just came in is very hot, yo. Okay. Because no information is better than half information. Or maybe this man got half information and he ran with it. Okay, let me note down what I need to share with you. I will share the links on the funding. All of you on your PhD program. So there are aspirants, PhD aspirants, and there are PhD candidates. Okay. Link for funding. What other link have I promised? Link. Okay. Oh, Qatar evidence. And even Africa evidence, you can see yourself. I'm sure you have. If you don't have, you won't be here. African evidence. How I'm able to get these links? What else? A curriculum. And by the way, Femi is a Qatar graduate. The one you are calling as not Richard. Yeah. So it's one of your colleagues. It's a fellow. He should have been here. So you can interact with him more. He has also finished. I'm not sure whether he has got the Qatar postdoc. I think he's also working on it. And you will have to create a WhatsApp group. If you don't have one yet, all of you, because the last set of fellows, should they have their class governor now or when everybody comes around? Okay. But if anyone is willing to volunteer, why not? That's the benefit of coming earlier. Any volunteer as class governor? Okay, let's clap for our class governor, Dr. Adeoye. So, what's your first name? What's your first name? So, Dr. Adeoye L. Dr. Adeoye L. Then Dr. Adeoye Ho. So Ho and L. So help us collect the. You can pass the. Do they have the attendance register already? Please pass. Maybe we can do that in the next few minutes. Pass the attendance register and write your phone. Bring so that you can. Then somebody just arrived. He has not registered. And if you also need to exercise, do some earth break, you can do before we go to the next session. The next 10-15 minutes. So do your own registration and then you will create the WhatsApp group. So those who have not arrived, you can give their numbers. They arrived. in my question.